If shouting at my parents is wrong, I don't want to be right. G'day there guys, it's your main man Markee and welcome back to another episode of shouting at your parents and calling them blind and arguments and all that good stuff. If you love today's bloody good content, I want you to sit back, relax, chuck a prawn on the barbie, and get ready for some good stuff. Let's go. Am I the asshole for shouting at my parents and calling them blind? Now, the title seems really bad, but hear me out. I, 19 female, have an elder sister, 25 female, who recently lost her best friend due to a car accident. They were friends from literally when they were both babies, and all of this has affected her in a really bad way. It's been 2 months since the accident, and ever since then, she's been really quiet. She barely eats anything or talks to anyone. Her college grades have also dropped, and seeing all this, I'm really worried about her. I tried talking to her, but she won't open up to me. I couldn't see her like that anymore, so I suggested my parents that we should let her seek help from a professional, like a therapist. But here's the thing. My parents don't believe that mental health issues are real. They are very traditional people when it comes to mental health, and apart from that, they're really up to date with everything. It's just the mental health that feels like a taboo to them. They just told me that there is nothing therapy can do and that she'll get over it soon. But I told them it's not a thing that you can get over soon, and the condition my sis is in right now, I don't think she will get over it soon. But my parents wouldn't hear the end of it. They then started telling me about my cousin, whom I don't really know or talk to, that she faked that she was in a really bad mental health state just to get attention from people around her, and that her parents wasted a lot of money and time on her therapy, so they don't believe it. They don't think that my sister needs therapy because she's not depressed or anything like that. And at this point, I'm furious and I kinda raised my voice and said, "What the hell, guys? My sister is not like her, and she's clearly not faking it. Can't you guys see her? The way she's being, she's not okay. How effing blind can you guys be? And are we gonna wait around till the time she gets effing depressed to seek professional help?" Mind that this was the first time that I was talking to them in this way, all of this just for my sister, who was their daughter as well. My parents got mad at me for raising my voice and calling them blind, and scolded me for talking to them like that and cursing at them. They also told me that I'm young, so I shouldn't talk about things that I don't understand. They called me a brat and are now not on speaking terms with me. Am I the asshole for shouting at my parents and calling them blind? No, they're the ones that seem like kids in this situation. They refuse to accept that mental health is a real thing for people. And it seems like it's purely off of the basis that someone was faking it. So of course, this one person faking it means that it's not possible to have mental health issues because you're just faking it, bro. I've already seen it before. Your parents basically don't want to argue with you. They got mad at you for raising your voice and calling them blind, and they attacked you for that. They're like, how dare you try and give us an opinion that's different to our own? And now they're not on speaking terms with you. It's obvious that your parents are childish and ignorant and don't actually care about your sister's mental health. I'm gonna vote not the asshole for shouting at them. It feels like they don't want to listen and they won't listen. That would be extremely frustrating. Now in the comments, check the boxes says, "Not the asshole. You and your sister are both old enough to find a therapist yourselves, so forget the parents and get her a therapist. Old enough, but probably not wealthy enough. Therefore, the talk with the parents. Not every country offers therapy with the basic health insurance." Gently Used says, "Not the asshole. It sounds as if your sister is already experiencing depression. I have a son that deals with it. Grief will definitely take you through various emotions and can take a while to cope with. Please reach out to someone now for her, and kudos for being a great little sis and looking out for what's best for her. Best to all of you." Not the asshole. Can we stop calling people traditional when it comes to mental health? The word you're looking for is ignorant. And also the way the parents talked about the cousin situation. I hate when people frame just to get attention as something not worthy. If this is the only resource the person had to get attention and help, that crap is bad. And Resolve Pleasant 2282 says, "Not the asshole. You may be the one to raise your voice, but your sister's behaviors are what's screaming for help. It is so sad that you had to frame it as something that your parents should let her do. It sounds as if you were trying so hard to be your sister's voice to your parents. Your sister should be the one who wants to see the therapist, but it should be a very viable option. Your parents burying their heads in the sand by pretending that depression doesn't exist isn't going to make it go away. Your sister may not slip into a depression, but validation and support can really, really help. And now on to the update. Since many of you guys asked me for the update, here it is. First of all, I want to thank each and every single one of you for showing so much support for my sister and I. Thank you guys for the silver and other awards as well. These are my very first awards, so thank you very much. I would also like to thank some of the people with You're the A-hole opinions, because that helped me as well. Now, after reading all of the comments, I went ahead and talked to my sister, and I asked her how she would feel about trying talking to a professional. She didn't agree right away, but after a little coaxing, she agreed to it. I told her what happened between our parents and I, and let's just say there were many tears and hugs after that. I then made my parents sit down at the dining table. I apologized to them for shouting and cursing at them, but I told them that mental health is a real thing, and we should at least give talking to a professional one chance, and if my sister doesn't feel that it's helping her, we will take a look at some other options. My parents didn't agree at first, but then I told them this time in a very polite manner that it really is a difficult time for my sister and we should help her in this time, and knowing that they were here to support would mean the world to her. I also told them that having mental health issues and seeking out professional help is nothing to be ashamed of. Instead, we should embrace it because it's okay to need someone's help. And at this point, I was a crying mess, and my parents were on the verge of crying as well. They were reluctant, but they agreed. We went to our sister's room, and we told her that we are here for you whenever she needs us. Our parents apologized for behaving the way they did, and told us that there is nothing more important than seeing their children happy, and that they would be coming to the sessions if my sister feels like she needs them there. All this ended in a big hug and lots of happy tears. So my sister is going for an appointment next week. I hope everything goes well, and fingers crossed. Once again, thank you all for showing support and positivity. I showed all of the comments to my sister, and she was overwhelmed by the support, and says thanks to you guys. Thanks for the You're the Arsehole judgments as well. My sister saw them and thought that you guys were right, as I shouldn't have cursed at my parents. But once again, thank you so much, guys. Now in the comments, Petty Betty says, "This update warms my heart. You are an incredible sister, and I'm proud of you for how you handled yourself when talking to your parents. I'm so happy that your parents came around and realized your sister and their daughter is hurting, and needs them more than ever. I'm also very, very happy that your sister is going to get the help she needs. I wish you and yours all the love, strength, and healing." CDizzle516 says, "Well done, OP. I just want to put it out there as well that just because your sister doesn't connect with the first therapist she sees, doesn't mean there is no benefit to it. I lost my best friend, and the first therapist I saw rubbed me up completely the wrong way. Make sure you emphasize to your parents and sister that not all therapists are created equal, and she will not necessarily have rapport with everyone she sees. Good luck." Our next post is by user Swiper No Swiping, titled, "Am I the asshole for spending my dad's money on a trip with my aunt instead of stepmom? A little insight. I, 17 female, lost my mum this year in early April. My parents divorced when I was really young, but I've kept in touch over the years with my dad to ask for financial help with schools, trips, etc. Other than that, he told both my mum and I not to keep in touch unless necessary. Ever since my mum's passing, I've been living with my dad. I don't know the details, but my mum and dad never had a friendly relationship, and I can tell my dad didn't really like her, but to me, she was my single working mum, and I really miss her. My dad's new wife, my stepmom, is okay, but she acts a bit tense around me and tries too hard. I don't think she likes my mum either, since she tells me to stop when I talk about her. I feel like my dad is pushing for us to get close, but I don't see that happening since I barely know either of them well enough, plus I'll only ever have one mum. Here's where the problem starts. Now, back when I used to live with my mum, she used to work tons of shifts, get barely any rest, and work her damn hardest for me. I wanted to surprise her with a surprise vacation or a small trip for her to relax, but we couldn't afford it, so I started asking my dad for money every few weeks, saying I needed it for extracurricular courses. When I finally had enough, my mum passed away, and I started living with my dad and stepdad. I still had the trip money left over, so I called in my aunt, which was my mum's sister, to come with me for the trip. I don't know how, but my dad found out about the money that I've collected and got really angry, but said that he'd forgive me if I went on the trip with stepmom. Obviously I didn't, and I left with my aunt when he was away at work. My aunt and I had a blast on our small road trip, stayed at a motel, and basically just toured around in big wide open spaces. As a city child, I had a lot of fun in the countryside. Now, when I came back, Dad was really mad and took away all my devices and grounded me, calling me an asshole for not choosing to go with stepmom and using his money like a thief. I know what I did with lying about my courses and taking his money was wrong, but was it wrong of me to go with my auntie? She really reminds me of my mum, and I missed her so much. My dad, his wife, and extended family found out and are all calling me a petty thief and a liar. My stepmom has started ignoring me in the house too, and everyone keeps telling me to apologize. But I don't see where I did wrong with going with my aunt, who I feel closer to. I don't see a problem with the way you spent the money either. You went with your aunt who you wanted to go to, it wasn't a misappropriation of funds, and your dad's trying to force a relationship with your stepmom that you don't want. He should recognize that and see, hey, maybe I'm pushing her too hard, maybe I should let her be her own person. She is 17 years old after all. But he's too caught up in whatever the hell he's doing with his own life to realize that. And now he's looking for retaliation by the sounds of it. I wouldn't accept that behavior from him, and I would probably, if you can afford it, get out of there as soon as you can. Not the asshole. Now in the comments, Spiritual Phoenix says, not the asshole. Now, while the way you went about getting the money to finance the trip was not exactly kosher, you had every right to decide who to take with you. You chose to take someone you know and love, someone who has a close connection to your mother. The fact that you aren't close with your father and stepmother is their own fault. He was the one who chose to only support you financially and not emotionally, so he has only himself to blame. Is there a way for you to get out of their house? Could you live with your aunt? They are emotionally abusing and isolating you because you didn't cower to their demands, and that is not okay. It could get worse. I'm so sorry for your loss. And OP replies, thank you. I want to get out too, but I don't think my dad will allow it. Plus my aunt is struggling financially, so I don't want to be a burden on her. I plan to move out and become independent when I can though. You're 17. You're old enough to decide. Talk to your aunt, but don't apologize. A name I can't pronounce says, most people are going to say not the asshole to you because you're a kid and your mum died and your father, stepmother, and her extended family are clearly being assholes. However, my read is this is a difficult, yet clear, everyone sucks here. Quote, I started asking my dad for money every few weeks, saying that I needed it for extracurricular courses. You lied to him, OP. With that said, quote, my dad, his wife, and extended family found out and are all calling me a petty thief and a liar. My stepmom has started ignoring me in the house too, and everyone keeps telling me to apologize. But I don't see where I did wrong with going with my aunt, who I feel closer to. They sound awful. Where is their empathy? Now, you might be asking the same thing about me. Where's my empathy? I have tons of it for you. If I were your dad in this situation, I'd tell you the lying wasn't cool, but go have the trip with your aunt and let's move on. I wouldn't continually punish you over it. You know it wasn't right to lie about why you needed the money, and that would be enough for me. I'm sorry for your loss. And Pistachio Wee says, I don't believe OP is the asshole. mainly because I know what it is to have a single mother who works hard to support you and a father who does the bare minimum, as it can be inferred with this post. Your answer shows that you haven't experienced having a dad who will not help at all unless is strictly necessary. I believe that the fact that OP had to lie to get some pocket money from her dad says a lot more of the dad than of OP's moral character. While I'm not saying lying is okay, I get why OP did it. And now onto the update. OP says, I thought it was about time to make an update post. Although my previous post was judged and the final verdict given was not the asshole, I recognize my mistake and have since apologized to both dad and stepmom. Right now I'm working on paying them back through chores and helping around the house, and I'm getting there slowly. The total amount I took from my dad was $150, by the way. I got the money through lying because our city was in lockdown at the time and I couldn't get any jobs even if I wanted to. Plus, allowance was out of the question. Now, regarding child support, I don't know if my dad was paying it or not since my mum told me not to talk about financial issues and stuff, which was probably not to worry me. But I do know that we didn't exactly live the high life. There was barely much to eat and my mum worked multiple jobs. We lived paycheck to paycheck. My dad is much better off financially. Stepmom has finally stopped ignoring me but doesn't make much convo. I've tried asking my dad why his relationship with my mum was so bad, and he said they had a forced marriage and not to talk about her since it would upset stepmom, and that she's currently pregnant. To be honest, I'm just really tired and miss my mum. Thanks to the people who gave me advice on what to do and how to move out and be independent. I'll work hard until then. Stay safe, everyone. Bye. And thanks for the awards and kind messages too. And in the comments, Bicycles with Daisies says, wait, they threw a fit over $150? That's insane. I'd honestly look into the child support because I don't know whether it could be applied retroactively. You need your own account with no parents on it. If you can't because you're a minor, have your aunt sign. Once you're 18, immediately take anyone off the account even if you trust them. They are treating you like a thief over $150. That is horrible, and I'd try to get out as fast as possible. No kidding, I thought it was more like $1,500. Gah, I'd spend dollars for that. Girl, go make your way in the world. Make your mum proud. You've got a fan club out here. Ice Cream Penis says, I am so sorry about your mum. You sound like a really decent, loving person. Feeling guilty over $150 after a lifetime of neglect shows how kind you really are. The fact that your mother died less than a year ago, you lost your home, your whole life was turned upside down, and you're not even allowed to talk about her, is completely despicable. Your dad and stepmother are objectively bad people and should be ashamed of themselves. I don't give a crap if they had a forced marriage. That was their problem, not their innocent child's problem. Since you're a minor, I take it that your stepmother's end-of-life financial stuff was dealt with by your new guardian. Your dad, correct? Who had control of her assets and property? You are almost 18, and if I were you, I would be taking a very close look at the legal side of what happened after her death. You are also entitled to a pension if you're in Canada, and I think the US? My dad died when I was 15, and I got what was called an orphan pension. Back then, in the year 2000. Make sure that they aren't fleecing you. It was about $100 a month back then. If your dad is guilting you over how much money you spent that was gifted to you, I wouldn't be surprised at all if he was withholding other crap from you as well. Alright guys, that's the end of the video. Friendly reminder that I'm now posting daily on my second channel, Markee 2. If you want to laugh at memes with me, link is down in the description below. On phone, you just click that little arrow underneath the video. I also want to say thank you to all my channel members and Patreon subscribers. Your names are currently floating down the screen here, and I love to see all of you guys. Thank you for joining me on this journey. Thank you for supporting me. I really appreciate it. If you see yourself on screen, I want you to give yourself a big pat on the back for being amazing as always, and thank you for supporting me again. I do hope that you guys have a good day, night, sleep, whatever it is you're up to. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.